This is basically the last time you will see this. I just went to AutoZone, I purchased gloves, brake cleaner, all this other stuff we needed fluid wise to finally get rid of this transmission and do the manual swap. So everything is ready to go. I'm going to the warehouse real quick to clean up the transmission, get it all ready, remove the exhaust off the car. So when we put on the lift, we get straight to the transmission, pull this out, put the new one in, bolt everything up. Hopefully everything goes well. And this takes us about 1 day. But if I need be, they said I can use it for 2 days. But yeah, hopefully we can knock it out of the park real quick and have this baby converted to manual so I can start on the GTR kit. Which I'm pretty sure I already announced it or showed it to you guys in the last video. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I'm editing it. So before this comes out, you guys are, well, you're gonna know and you're gonna see that the kit is already in my possession. And after we do this and fix the weird freaking ICV or whatever, even though I just replaced it, I'm still getting crazy codes, limp mode in this car. Once we do the transmission, we're gonna work with more hardcore stuff into the car so it runs better. And then I think within the next week or two, I'm going to start removing all the panels and trimming the body kit to fit the wagon. World's first, baby. Let's get it. Okay, so I've been slowly rebuilding the get rag. I already put a short shifter in it, pierced my hand doing it, already healed, but it's super short, definitely like it. But look at this bushing. All this play is not okay, it shouldn't be happening. So online I was wondering if they have a solid one, and I found these. This looks like, yeah, hard plastic. So here's the old one. Yeah, it's definitely worn. Now there's absolutely no play whatsoever. Now I think over time the duct tape will get loose, but it's still not going to be as wobbly as a stock rubber one because these are still solid. But damn, like look at that. Shifter has no play. Like it still has to be connected in the back, but there's literally no play now. This thing's going to be so nice. Another thing that I'm going to be doing is switching out the pinion for a aluminum one, because in there is a plastic one. And this only has 127 miles, so it's not even that much, but the plastic ones fail, so might as well just put the aluminum one in. Hopefully it fits really snug. I don't have to do anything to it, but we'll see. I'm also going to change out the clip. This was like 10 bucks, which is insane for a clip, and I think this was like 10 to 15 also. So parts that should be cheap are not really cheap, but whatever. Well, that was actually a pain in the ass because it broke in half and I had to put a screw through it to pull the rest of it out, but plastic one's out and the aluminum is in, so looks good. Everything's good. I think it's all the way in, so we can see it coming out the back here, so I think we're good. I'm going to clean it up a little bit and put the clutch fork back on and the throttle bag. So that is complete, and I managed to actually install the shifter. It has absolutely no weight to it, but it looks cool. I really like how it looks, and it really fits like how notchy this transmission is now. The only thing I didn't like about it is that it was this long and it was on a spring, because apparently when I was ordering it said for manual, but then it came in saying it's for an automatic. So I want it similar to this. I want to reuse this, but the pin in there is kind of weak, and then this thing broke off, so I don't really want to use that. And the stock ones are just too big for my liking. Like, as you can see, it's a little taller. This one feels good. I can't wait to throw it on. It's held on with these little Allen screws. Okay, so I'm here with Alfred right now. We just removed the exhaust after legit cutting everything right there. We're gonna have to drill it out. Now we're draining the oil from the transmission. Once that's done, I'm going to loosen up the drive shaft, remove the drive shaft, and then we can start removing the... Oh, we actually have to remove the torque converter bolts, which are right here. You see the light? So you remove that rubber piece right there, and then remove 3 bolts, which is not actually too bad. because there's a lot of room. So we're gonna get to it. I'm not recording much because we're time constrained here, so we're trying to do it as fast as possible.
6 hours later.
So we started at 12 o'clock. We're having the biggest issue removing the automatic transmission. It's such a pain in the ass, but basically it's completely off. And now the starter up there, the little pinion that guides it in, is stuck to the transmission. And I don't really have anything to like poke it out. So we're kind of stuck right now, just fiddling with this thing. It's already 7 o'clock, so 7 hours trying to just remove this bitch. But as soon as that's out, everything can just go back on, which is nice and easy. But that's a bitch. Okay, so as you can see, we finally got it off. Dude, this took us, I'm not even kidding, 7 hours for this piece of... Come here. So this is legit the reason why we couldn't get it off. This pinion that was in the starter was straight up stuck. And bruh, we pried it, we kept on prying it with a pry bar. We tried to not destroy the starter, and thankfully it looks like we didn't. But I guess time will tell when we actually put this brand new one on. Yeah, because then you're going to take the starter up, everything should be fine. I think that was the pinion bolt right here, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, I'm surprised that this one didn't come out. Like, it was coming out that way, and it got stuck and it broke off from the starter. Which we don't really care, I guess, as long as we can match it up with the bolts here. I think it's going to be fine. But that's it. I'm throwing this bitch out. We're finally going to remove the flex plate. We're going to put on the manual flex plate. And the manual goes in. Finally, the manual goes in. What I'm actually going to do is probably climb inside real quick and remove all this stuff. So when that puppy is ready to go in, it's nice and in. So, so happy right now. I really am. It's 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Finally, this thing is out, and I want it done today. I thought I was going to do it tomorrow, which is Sunday. I want it done today. We're going to do an all-nighter if we have to. This thing's driving today, even if I don't have an exhaust, because as you can see, we have to cut this thing off, but we're doing it today. It has to be done today. So let's keep going. Well, and just like that, the automatic transmission is completely out. There was 3 bolts holding it in. Once we removed that, we just fed it through this hole and it came out completely. Now, you have to block that hole off. I don't have anything to block it off just yet. I'll do it later. But we're basically ready to put the manual transmission underneath, have the sit up here, put the boot cover on, put everything back together, and have it start. But I have to remove the pedal, and we're kind of on the lift, so it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass to get under there.
Several days later.
So it's day 2. Yesterday I stayed here till 2 a.m. and I could not get it in, but it's finally in. It's official, guys. The manual transmission is in, the starter is in. I just have to put this stuff together, pop it in. Well, boys, it's official. We finally got the wagon swapped to a manual, and it works. It's right there. It moves under its own weight. I'm gonna get into more detail how we did it, but I'm just super happy that we did it. So here we go, boys. First gear in the manual, driving it, open headers, because I broke all the bolts in my exhaust. They were extremely rusted, so it's really loud. But once I put the exhaust on, it's manual. Oh, it feels so good. And it has crazy pops. Nice. Dude, I'm so happy right now. I need to definitely hide the wires underneath and hide the automatic wires that are probably hanging. But we have a check engine light. Obviously, it's for the transmission because we have the transmission light. But I'm so happy right now, guys. You have no idea. This car feels amazing. So I'm not really stepping on the clutch or beating on it too much, since after put 500 miles on it, it's a brand new clutch. It feels amazing. It's stage 1, but it's like, oh my god, it's like one of my favorites. The pedal is so stiff, like in a good way. It feels like a race car. I don't know if you guys can hear me because it's so loud, so I'm just gonna end it here, and we're gonna talk about the car outside of it. What is up, you guys? So it's been a few days since the manual swap. I drove it home. It drove great. and then I wanted to drive it again, and then I heard a whining noise, but I do not have an exhaust on it. Well, I didn't at the time. I do now. I finally put it on. I didn't record it, but the exhaust is back on. I put gasket maker all around, so I can drive for 24 hours just so it bakes and there is no leaks. I know I'm probably gonna have a leak here and there, but I want to drive this thing and hear exactly what's wrong with it, because I still have to swap the oil in the transmission. It has the old one. I want to just refresh it. I want to do an oil change in the engine itself, and I also want to do spark plugs and coil packs because it's getting a random misfire in cylinder 6. I replaced the ICV, I replaced a bunch of parts, and it was running better, but it was still giving me a weird cylinder 6 only sometimes. So I think it's just bad spark plugs and coil packs, so I'm going to do that. But yeah, I think tomorrow I'm going to fire it up and take it for a nice spin. I did cut off the muffler, which was a little stupid of me doing it because the exhaust was off, so I was like, you know what, let me just chop it off. I chopped it off. It shouldn't be too loud. I should still hear noises if there are any, but driving it home, it drove so good. I'm super happy. I probably look extremely dirty because I'm cleaning up now, and I was just under the car, found a few rust spots that basically were under the paint, but we'll adjust them in a later video. But overall, super happy that it's a manual now. Like, I'm just so excited. I can't wait to drive it. Like I said, I gotta wait 24 hours for it to fully bake, and I'm gonna drive it. I tried to put tires on the E46 though, the ones I ordered, and they wouldn't fit, so the tire shop kind of scratched up my wheel. Bummed, but whatever. Drift wheels, I guess. But yeah, so this car's gonna go in the lift. I'm gonna swap the welded diff for an open diff until I find an LSD, because I love the welded diff. It's really fun, but going through tires every couple weeks is just insane because I want to slide this thing bad, and as soon as it breaks loose, you just want to put your foot to the floor and send it. And the tires I get are super cheap, so their threads are horrible, and I need new tires basically every few weeks. So open diff, so I can enjoy this in the summertime, find an LSD, maybe an M3 rear end, swap it over, have an LSD so I can slide sometimes. But we are taking it to the track this year. I've been talking about it and I really want to, but this will not be the dedicated drift car anymore because it's just so clean. I love looking at it. So that thing right there is going to be the dedicated drift car. Definitely can't wait. So more videos on that, more videos on this, and a bunch of videos on this. Okay, so the transmission is all swapped. We officially just changed the engine oil and we changed the transmission oil. We put royal purple in. I was having a really loud noise from the transmission that I was thinking was something wrong with it, but after we swapped the fluids, it kind of went down a little bit, but the noise is still there. And after talking to Vlad, because he has this exact clutch on his, he said it wasn't until he did solid shifter, which is what I basically did, that he was hearing the noise. So he eliminated a boot that was sending noise through the shifter, which was making it a little bit more noticeable than what it would be if you had the little rubber grommet that basically block off the noise. So that's what I have. I have a big opening where the automatic transmission grommet set, and I have to plug it up. Once I plug it up, I think that noise will go away. But I also think it's because of the clutch itself. So he's running the same clutch, and he said he has the same like sound that I have. I thought it was something wrong with the gears or something, but it shifts really smooth. It goes into gear great, and it pulls really good. There's no issues. So I'm thinking it's just a characteristic of the clutch itself that's making that noise. But I'll make a video on it next week after I break it in a little bit more, because I only put about 20 miles on this clutch. So I'm not going to make a review on it just yet since I haven't driven it to the point of making a review. But within the next, I want to say, week or 2 weeks, I'm going to do a full review of the wagon with the manual swap. I'm just super happy that everything's done. I just got to find the key to start this thing up, because like always, I tend to misplace things. But so there we go. It's fired up. It sounds great. As you can see, everything's fine. It's not until I put it into gear and start really driving it that you can kind of hear a whine. Pretty sure it's just the characteristic of the clutch, but it's also not broken in yet, so I can't really speak. I'm gonna break it in within the next week or so, do a full review of the clutch, of just the manual swap, because this video is just showing you guys that we finally did it. I'm super psyched about it, and I just have to clean the car. There's a bunch of just crap everywhere, so I'm gonna clean everything. I'm gonna tuck the wires underneath away and do a thorough review of the eBay clutch that I got. Everyone runs this at the drift track that I go to. Vlad's been running it for over 2 years and beating the hell out of it, and it's still good. And I'm not beating the hell out of it in this car. This is basically my dad car. I'm going to drive my kids in this, hopefully. Once I fix the misfires and stuff like that, still having a little bit of trouble issues. I have a buddy that said he can help me coat out the check engine light for the transmission and the transmission light, so I don't really have to change the cluster. We're just going to coat it so the car thinks it's a manual. So a whole bunch of goodies are still going into this car, but probably tomorrow or the next day I'm actually going to be removing the front fascia of the car and getting it ready for the GTR kit. But that would do it for this video, you guys. So we're finally manual swapped. I'm super happy. Just can't really describe the excitement I have to finally have this thing in manual, because it's so much more enjoyable to drive. But just be on the lookout for the review. Hit the thumbs like for this video that we finally have a manual transmission. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, because we have so much stuff coming for this car, the yellow E46, the E36, and future builds. So thank you guys so much for watching. We're finally manual swapped, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.